Your blood carries a small biological signature known as your blood type. Most people rarely think about it, but scientists have discovered it may influence more than we once believed. Research suggests that blood type can affect how easily blood clots, how certain bacteria interact with your cells, and how the immune system responds to inflammation. These factors do not determine your destiny, but they may quietly shape certain health patterns over time. In this video, we explore what scientists have learned about each blood type and why understanding this simple biological detail might help you make smarter choices for your long-term health today. To understand why blood type matters, imagine what is happening inside your veins right now. Your red blood cells are constantly moving through your bloodstream, almost like millions of tiny tennis balls flowing through a fast river. On the surface of each cell are small molecular markers called antigens. You can think of these antigens like tiny pieces of biological Velcro. People with type A blood have A antigens, while people with type B blood carry B antigens. If you have type AB, you have both. But if you have type O blood, your red blood cells do not carry these A or B markers. These small differences help determine how your immune system recognizes threats. Some bacteria and viruses interact differently depending on the types of markers present on your cells. Blood type may also influence biological processes such as clotting, immune response, and inflammation. Researchers are still studying these connections, but evidence suggests that blood type can play a role in how the body responds to infection and cardiovascular stress. Understanding this hidden system helps scientists explain why people with different blood types sometimes show different health patterns over time. Now let's take a closer look at the most common blood type in the world, type O positive. Nearly 40% of people carry it. Because type O red blood cells do not have A or B antigens on their surface, their behavior in the bloodstream can be slightly different from other blood types. One important difference involves a protein called von Willebrand factor, which helps your blood clot when you get injured. You can think of this protein as a kind of biological glue that helps seal a wound. Research has shown that people with type O blood tend to have lower levels of this clotting factor compared to other blood types. This creates an interesting balance. On one hand, slightly lower clotting activity may be associated with a lower tendency for certain types of abnormal blood clots. On the other hand, it can sometimes mean that bleeding may take a little longer to stop after an injury or surgery. In everyday life, this difference usually does not cause problems, but it is one of the reasons doctors study blood types so carefully when preparing for surgery or treating serious trauma. But the next challenge for people with type O blood may not appear in the bloodstream. It often begins in the digestive system. While type O red blood cells do not carry A or B antigens, they still express a structure known as the H antigen. This small biological marker can also appear along parts of the gut lining. Researchers have found that certain bacteria may interact with this marker more easily than with other blood type structures. One example often studied is Helicobacter pylori, a bacterium linked to stomach irritation and ulcers. Some studies suggest that people with type O blood may be slightly more susceptible to these infections, although many other factors such as diet, hygiene, and overall health also play an important role. Because the digestive system is the first line of defense against many microbes, maintaining a healthy stomach environment becomes important. Stomach acid helps break down food and also acts as a natural barrier against harmful organisms. Simple habits like balanced nutrition, safe food preparation, and medical advice when persistent stomach discomfort appears can help support digestive health. Understanding these biological patterns does not mean your blood type determines your future, but it can help explain why different bodies sometimes respond differently to the same environment. Now let us turn to another common blood type, type A positive, where the biological pattern begins to look quite different. If type O blood tends to clot a little more slowly, research suggests that type A blood may lean slightly in the opposite direction. People with type A blood carry the A antigen on the surface of their red blood cells. Scientists have also observed that individuals with this blood type often show somewhat higher levels of certain clotting factors in the bloodstream. These proteins help the body stop bleeding after an injury and play an important role in survival. In earlier human environments, this ability could have been useful. Small cuts from tools, hunting, or daily life needed to seal quickly to prevent dangerous blood loss. However, the modern world is very different. Today, many people spend long hours sitting at desks, driving, or working in front of screens. When the body remains inactive for extended periods, circulation may slow, particularly in the legs. Some research suggests that people with type A blood may have a slightly higher statistical risk of certain clot-related conditions. This does not determine your future, but it highlights the importance of staying active and maintaining healthy circulation. The story for type A blood does not stop with circulation and clotting. Researchers have also explored possible links between blood type and certain long-term health patterns. Some epidemiological studies have noticed that individuals with type A blood appear slightly more often in cases of certain cancers, including gastric and pancreatic cancer. Scientists are still working to understand why this pattern appears. One theory focuses on how the A antigen influences the way cells communicate and respond to inflammation. These surface markers can affect how immune signals travel between cells and how the body reacts to long-term irritation inside tissues. For example, the bacterium Helicobacter pylori has been widely studied because it can live in the stomach lining and trigger chronic inflammation. Over many years, persistent irritation in the stomach may increase the chance of tissue damage if it is not treated properly. This does not mean that people with type A blood are destined to develop these conditions. Many factors, including lifestyle, diet, environment, and medical care, play a much larger role in long-term health. Understanding these tendencies simply helps people make smarter decisions about movement, nutrition, and regular health checkups. Shifting our focus to type B positive, we find a biological profile present in roughly 10% of the population that carries its own fascinating, yet risky signature. People with type B blood often have a strong immune system, but that same strength can hide a subtle vulnerability. Some research suggests individuals with type B blood may show higher levels of C-reactive protein, a marker associated with inflammation. This does not usually translate into the same clotting dangers seen in type A blood or the bleeding tendencies sometimes associated with type O. Instead, the challenge appears in a different form. Some studies have explored whether certain inflammatory markers may appear more frequently in people with type B blood, although research is still ongoing. Imagine your arteries like a garden hose. Over time, type B blood can make the inner surface slightly rough and irritated. When that irritation continues for years, circulation problems may slowly develop, especially in the smaller vessels of the hands and feet. Persistent cold fingers or toes might even hint at this hidden pattern. Another concern involves bacteria. Some researchers have investigated whether certain bacterial interactions may vary depending on blood group antigens, though these mechanisms are still being studied. These microbes attach more easily to the intestinal lining, which may cause infections that last longer and feel more severe. Then we arrive at the rarest of the positive profiles, AB positive, a blood type found in less than 4% of the global population. Because you carry both A and B antigens, you are known as the universal recipient for blood transfusions. Yet inside the body, this rare combination comes with a significant biological trade-off. One study published in the journal Neurology suggested a possible association between AB blood type and a higher likelihood of certain cognitive challenges, although researchers say more studies are needed to fully understand this relationship. This pattern is believed to be connected to endothelial function and the way blood vessels regulate circulation. Since AB blood contains both antigens, the body can show higher levels of a clotting protein called factor VIII. When this interacts with the characteristics associated with types A and B, blood flow may become slightly thicker within the smallest vessels of the brain. Over many decades, reduced microcirculation can slowly limit the oxygen supply reaching brain cells, which may accelerate age-related decline. For people with AB blood, regular mental stimulation and cardiovascular exercise are especially important to keep brain activity strong. Moving beyond the familiar A, B, and O groups, we enter what could be called the negative zone. If your blood type carries a minus sign, you belong to a relatively small group that makes up only about 15% of the global population. Biologically, being negative means your red blood cells do not contain a protein known as the rhesus factor or simply the Rh factor. You can imagine positive blood as a house with a welcome mat, while negative blood is more like a house with a keep out sign. The absence of this protein rarely causes daily problems, but it becomes extremely important in one of the most critical moments of human life: pregnancy. When an Rh-negative woman carries an Rh-positive baby, her immune system may interpret the baby's blood cells as foreign. In response, the body can produce antibodies that attack the fetus's red blood cells. This dangerous condition once caused severe complications and even death before modern medicine understood the mechanism. Today, doctors prevent this reaction with an injection called RAGAM, which protects the baby's blood cells from the mother's immune response during pregnancy. For those who carry the O-negative profile, you belong to one of the rarest and most critical blood groups on Earth. In hospitals, you are known as the universal donor, the person whose blood can be given to almost anyone during a medical emergency. In trauma rooms and accident scenes, those O-negative bags are often the first ones doctors reach for because they are the safest option when time is running out. Yet, there's a striking biological irony behind this heroic status. While your blood can save nearly everyone, almost no one can save you. Because your red blood cells contain no A antigen, no B antigen, and no Rh factor, your body can safely receive blood only from other O-negative donors. This creates a serious scarcity problem. O-negative individuals represent less than 7% of the global population, which means the supply in hospitals is always limited. During large accidents or major emergencies, that shortage can quickly become dangerous. The situation is similar for other negative blood types. Negative individuals face the clotting tendencies linked with type A while being restricted to A-negative or O-negative donors. B. Negative individuals must deal with vascular inflammation while belonging to one of the rarest blood groups in the world. Finally, we arrive at the rarest biological profile on Earth, AB negative. Fewer than 6 people in 1,000 share this blood type, making it one of the most uncommon genetic signatures in the human population. Because your body carries both A and B antigens but lacks the Rh factor, your immune profile can behave in unpredictable ways. In large emergencies, this rarity becomes a serious reality. Compatible blood is extremely limited, which means people with the same blood type may become each other's most important lifeline. Knowing the blood types of your close family members is not just interesting information, it can become a form of biological insurance when every minute matters. Regardless of which blood type you carry, your body operates like a specialized machine, with its own set of strengths and weaknesses. People with type O may benefit from paying attention to digestive health and maintaining balanced stomach function as part of overall well-being. Those with type A benefit from regular movement throughout the day to keep circulation active and prevent sluggish blood flow. Type B individuals should support their vascular health with clean nutrition and foods that encourage healthy circulation. For AB types, consistent cardiovascular exercise and mental stimulation are powerful tools for protecting long-term brain function. Now that you understand these biological patterns, you are no longer guessing. You are making informed decisions about your health. Type your blood group in the comments and see how many people share your rare biological signature. This content is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks for the support.